Can you establish that horizontal plane in 1 mile?
I do not know the method that satisfies what you just described.
Like,
It's
just
hard.
create that horizontal plane in free space. There's no way to do that, to your knowledge?
I don't know of a method off the top of my head. Maybe I'll think about it a whole lot.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
But when I'm using my equipment,
3 coplanar points, and bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
On the level.
The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the Earth. It really is.
Level.
It really is.
Level.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
I see a chihuahua.
Okay, yeah, a little Jose JG. We're getting that on there for his whatever, and there's the transcript. Okay, so
gyros that we don't understand, or are we just pretending to not understand because we don't like the outcome?
That's about the sum of it.
Yeah.
Right, so he
I
starts
don't understand it. Is this fascination with the measurements having to be over
what
water?
he's gonna do? Play this. I'm gonna plug my headphones. Get out.
Rocky claims to have all this equipment, stuff like auto levels, which are designed to shoot level, right?
All right, there we go.
I'm gonna set this so we can see the YouTube chat.
Oh, he said design and shoot level.
Chat, but it will get fixed. It will fix itself. So let's see what we got here. Oh, no,
right.
not that.
I'll nip up if you.
Is there a way to create a horizontal plane using a theodolite or an auto level and not looking in one shot?
I'd have to think about that real hard. Like I said, if you set up your instrument 15 feet above the water and go out there a mile.
Okay, so I guess we're looking good. We got audio. We got everything set up. Hello, Marcus Dresden, Zep Tepi, Village Studio Controller. Marcus Dresden, Village, Zep. When I come back, I'll scroll up. I'll verify that I didn't miss
real
anything,
hard about that.
any
Right,
support
did
to the channel.
you
So if you
hear
got a
that? You got it, right?
Throw it this way. Let's do
fucking
this.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I have to think real. It's not finished. He comes back.
Till it
Here we
hits the
go.
crosshair and see if it's 15 feet above the water. Then on the intermediate poles, you jack them up until they hit the crosshair, and you'll see the tops of those poles all line up, and you'll see a different distance to the water on every one of them. And that is how you're measuring the curve of the water relative to an auto level.
Right, so
he's
got 15.
At a mile, you're going to be a little bit in trouble because you can't.
Volume. Fuck. yeah. Let me wait for all the muted and sound come through. Shame on me. See that? My forehead see through? Now you see it. Woo! Hey,
right.
I'm not gonna be able to see. There are two chats, but it will get fixed. It will fix itself. So let's see what we got here. Oh, no, not that.
Excited. Is there a way to create a horizontal plane using a theodolite or an auto level and not looking in one shot?
Right? He's asking. Rakia, is Rakia in here or not? Maybe not. It'd be good if he was in here, but yeah, he asks, is there a way to establish a horizontal using a theodolite or an auto level without looking at it in one shot over a mile, right? And then Larry.
I'd have to think about that real hard. Like I said, if you set up your instrument 15 feet above the water and go out there a mile.
Okay, so.
Right, so if you set your instrument up 15 feet above the water and go out there about a mile, and then he does a load of talking, right?
You know what he should have said? Land surveyors survey water. We don't do that.
Yeah.
We'll look out that.
I'm sure he said
That's not a
that before.
technique.
I'm sure he heard him say that. They
No, he had
don't
to think
survey
about it
over
real
water.
hard.
Yeah, he has said that they don't survey over water, but that, if you listen to it, right, you set a pole up at 15 feet above the water, and then you go out a mile. Right, here we go. A pole up.
A pole up to be 15 till it hits the crosshair, and see if it's 15 feet above the water. Then on the intermediate poles, you jack them up until they hit the crosshair, and you'll see the tops of those poles all line up, and you'll see a different distance to the water on every one of them.
Right, now, I don't know. It seems like he's suggesting that you lift the poles to the crosshair and then measure down on the pole. I mean,
yeah, if he's not doing reciprocal leveling or differential leveling, I would love to know what technique he's using as a professional surveyor to do that.
Exactly, right? He's not a differential leveling. You would put your thing there and you would measure the distance, right? You wouldn't put 15 feet or 15 whatever at the crosshair and then measure down to see how far away that is from the... That's ridiculous. I can't even imagine what he's talking about. It's
He's
mad.
probably just joking around.
Well, yeah. I don't think he can't be a real surveyor, right? So,
and that is how you're measuring the curve of the water relative to an auto level. And with an auto level at a mile, you're going to be a little bit in trouble because you can't flip the auto level over. So you'd have to have a more sophisticated.
Right, you'd be in trouble over a mile because you can't flip the auto level.
Why in the hell would you want to flip that auto level?
You can't. It wouldn't be able to float, would it? Like, I can't imagine what he thinks. I think what he might think. Remember,
he probably thinks it's like this little telescope deal.
Remember when we were watching that other video of that guy that couldn't set his tools up, and there was one of them. It was upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that one of the pictures was upside down. Well, I think he might be thinking like that, right? That people make mistakes about putting the thing the right way up, and you can't flip it, which is a theodolite sort of thing. I don't know why you'd want to do that anyway, to check it. But he might be. But I mean, he might not. He might have some sophisticated auto levels that.
No, I've seen a couple other guys.
Have you? Go on.
Yeah, I've seen a couple other guys doing that kind of crap, but they're not around anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's nobody to really explain any of this, because obviously Larry isn't capable of explaining this. As you'll hear, listen to this, right? We'll offer some help in a bit for him.
You know, that becomes very, very expensive. And, yeah, you were 15 feet above the water, and you set a bunch of stakes all lining up to the crosshair at a mile out, you'll find that that's more than 15 feet above the water. And you'll find the intermediates, if they all hit the crosshair, will be slightly less and slightly less and slightly less until you get back to the instrument where it's 15.0.
Okay, I'll ask my question again.
Do you like that? I mean, Dave's about to ask him his question again. But he said that would be more than 15. That was sort of suggesting that the water level is dropping away from the horizontal, right? Another one. I mean, I know another guy that said that, and he had to go away. Do you reckon a Larry being able to do that? Because that's him. He's definitely said it. And now Raki is about to ask him again the same question.
Again, with the most expensive equipment available, can you create a horizontal plane 15 foot above any surface, and then and without shooting a mile, if you want to measure a mile? Is there any equipment available where you can do it in shorter segments and still create a horizontal plane in free space? Is that possible?
What's your budget?
Free space.
Yeah.
He said
The answer to that is
cool.
no. If you're going to be measuring little short chords, then you will be tracing.
That's not what I asked. Can I create a horizontal plane for 1 mile using any type of instrument, but not shooting in one shot 1 mile by moving that instrument? Can you set it up to where it's not doing anything but create a horizontal plane? No matter how many times you move it, no matter if you set it up one day and come back a year from now, can you establish that horizontal plane in 1 mile?
I do not know the method that satisfies what you just described. No,
What
I
the
don't.
fuck?
Thank you.
He doesn't know how to do differential leveling?
He doesn't know how
Across the
to
lane?
sort of think, right? And notice Dave said he's very, very, very good with this, right? 15 feet above for a mile. And Larry says loads of short chords, to which Rakia shouts him down and says no. Like, because you can't have a chord 15 feet above. So you're only going a mile. Like, where are you going to get a chord from? So he was right to say no. But Larry to say no, he can't even think of a method that satisfies it. A horizontal over a mile.
Man, that's crazy. Anyone, the Illinois surveyor can show you how to differential level.
For a mile? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, this is Larry, right? Larry Scott. Larry GPS, he's the top man at Jose's at the minute.
So Illinois surveyor knows how to do it, but Larry GPS doesn't.
Yeah, can't even contemplate of the method. I do not know the method that satisfies what you just described. And I thought it was quite simply described that really well, but I mean, listen to what he says. It keeps going for a bit. He says, "Thank you."
Because if you're going to look at a horizontal plane, you have to look across the entire mile all at once.
Would you agree if we did that on one day, it would be one measurement, on the next day it'd be another, and a year from now it'd be another?
To slight variations, but if you monitor the barometric pressure and temperature, if you go out in similar conditions, the optics will return the same.
Fraud.
Got to go out in similar conditions.
Yeah, because you have to
I'm
chase
calling
the atmosphere
fraud.
around.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
control the atmosphere. You just
He's not a surveyor.
Consistent.
Absolutely.
Hey, Larry, could those
He's not even
differences?
He's not even convincing as a fake surveyor, right?
He's a terrible actor.
He likes to think he's a surveyor, and unfortunately, he's been over at Jose JG's pretending to be a surveyor, and there's a lot of people over there. I'd have to call them gullible.
I need to see if Travis will put that video out where Larry Scott came over there and talked to me and Travis one day, and he was a hobbyist, and he had bought some old theodolite, and he was looking 24 miles across to a mountaintop. The guy was absolutely clueless. I didn't pay much attention to him, but 2 weeks after that, he was a big shot in this arena.
Yeah, same as Jesse. That Jesse, not that Jesse, or whatever, I don't know. Not you, Jesse. Whatever he's called. That's another guy who's done a very similar thing. He's bought some old stuff, restored it, gone for a hike up to the top of a mountain, and decided to use it as a camera or something. I don't know.
In a personal capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. Anyone that's willing to do that. And carry on. Right, here we go.
Be predicted.
Oh yeah.
Is that one of the reasons we usually don't like to shoot over a mile because of those conditions? We usually like to do maybe 300 or 400 foot to be more accurate.
Yeah, it's because of instrument error and atmospheric stuff. Yeah, you keep it down to short chords so that you are running parallel to the surface of the Earth, to where the curvature of the Earth never gets really, hardly, but an eighth of an inch or less. And then you can ignore it, and as you keep moving, then you're tracing the arc.
But there's no way to do it in those short
Do you get that right?
That sounds like the main surveyor. He said differential leveling techniques done correctly.
Yeah, he says something like that in a bit again. He does say that. Just like you create that horizontal plane. Oh no, that's work here, isn't it? Yeah. To where the curvature of the Earth never gets really, hardly, but an eighth of an inch. An eighth of an inch is about 3 mil-ish, something like that, yeah? About 200 meters? About an eighth of an inch on their model. That's for the Ruhif numbers.
It doesn't really matter because they don't ever measure curvature. They just calculate.
Yeah.
Segments and discord what's underneath you. Like, just create that horizontal plane in free space. There's no way to do that, to your knowledge.
Shout out to Brian Lee.
I don't know of a method off the top of my head. Maybe I'll think about it a whole lot.
Right, I'll go back and do that.
He's going to think about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
He's probably going to meditate.
There's lots of people really big thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so here we go. This is what Rakir says. This is from tracing the arc. The bullshit comes out of Larry.
Yeah, then you're tracing the arc.
But there's no way to do it in those short segments and discord what's underneath you. Like, just create that horizontal plane in free space. There's no way to do that, to your knowledge.
I don't know of a method off the top of my head. Maybe I'll think about it a whole lot.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
But when I'm using my equipment...
Right, so he's obviously never heard of differential leveling, has he?
I want to send that to the Illinois surveyor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonder what he would say.
Yeah. But then he'd get called a flat earther or something, wouldn't he? You know what Larry's like.
I
don't know the Illinois surveyor, but
no. I know, but you'd be opening him up into this world. But I mean, I've been saying that for ages, right? These aren't real surveyors. Come over and prove us wrong, Larry, if you want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the right of reply show.
Yeah.
Right of reply.
Yeah, right.
You have the right to come and speak. You have a right to make a response video. Whatever you want to do.
Yep. You're the right to go on Jose's and talk about this if you want. But I'd like to offer anybody up if anybody knows what Larry's talking about. Anybody wants to tell us what's going on. We go. So he's now explaining. Right, Rakir says appreciate it, and then Larry explains about what he does now.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
But when I'm using my equipment from 1 mile to 25 miles, I get very consistent results over a multi-year project. So
yeah, I got you.
And that's at many miles, measuring vertical angles that are, no more than 1.5 or 2 degrees. Quite often only half a degree, and I get
Whoa.
down to a couple arc seconds over
Ah.
100,000 feet. And
Over
that's
100,000 feet.
not a lot of
Over
difference
100,000.
in elevation. So I measure, I not looking over water. I'm
What a train
using
wreck.
ridges and valleys to where the air column is is very consistent.
Using
go out
ridges
over,
and valleys.
the multi-years,
The air column.
and if the temperature is
The air
always above
column is
50
not-
to 90,
multi-years.
and the altimeter is
Imagine
only like
the-
about a quarter inch
Yeah.
left or right,
Imagine the air trying to establish an equilibrium between a valley where a river's flowing and a mountaintop where it's cold.
On the ridge, yeah.
I mean, you'd have this constant flow of turbulence, right? Heat, rising, cold, dropping, moisture.
Yeah, but
no.
Can I ask, because I mean, this is just one of the things that comes to my mind. What job's he doing?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
What the purpose of this? Because he says he does it over a multi-year thing. Right, I've noticed George does the same as well. He's doing a thing. I mean, what is it that he's doing?
Globe defending. It pays pretty good.
Crazy, right? But right, he says, and I go out over like some multi-years. And if the temperature is always above 50 and less than 90, and the altimeter is only like about a quarter of an inch left or right, what's that?
He's saying he's off of his equilibrium. He's above sea level at the balance.
Yeah, but what's the altimeter, left or right? I mean, that would be a tilt to the left.
It'd be positive.
Or
it'd
tilt
be
to the
positive
right.
or negative. Yeah. You'd have plus whatever, standard atmospheric pressure, whatever you want to call it.
No, it's an altimeter.
Or less. Same thing. As a barometer.
No, it's an altimeter for knowing how high it is, for the altitude. Altimeter?
Yeah. But it's based on the pressure.
No, he was talking about barometers, and then he went to the altimeter.
Yeah.
Two different tills, right?
Yeah, I mean, truly, though, like you said, you could say it's just, your vertical altitude.
Yeah, so I'll let you listen to this. It is quite good. I mean, this is.
and I go out over, like I said, multi-years, and if the temperature is always above 50 and less than 90, and the altimeter is only like about a quarter inch left or right, I get the same results, and I go through the math. And see, there's your problem. I go through the math, and I get very consistent results. If you ignore the math or try to just use some sort of visual interpretation with an instrument that's not putting out degrees and not dealing with distances and not dealing with angles and trig functions, then I don't know what the hell you're going to get or how you're going to perceive anything, and I don't know then how you have footing to say that the math is all made up or fake.
Yeah, I don't say that. So
right, he says, and I go through the math and see there's your problem. I go through the math and get very consistent results. If you ignore the math or try to use some sort of visual interpretation with an instrument that's not putting out degrees and not dealing with distances and not dealing with angles and trig functions, then I don't know.
That's it. He does not understand any of those things he listed.
Well, no.
That's what he just said.
No, he said if you're not dealing with it, right? So one of the things that he lists that we would not be dealing with any of those things is an auto level.
Yeah.
Right? So he's saying you can't use an auto level.
Well, what he's really saying is he has used the theodolite and he doesn't know anything about the others. Is that not it?
Yeah. He doesn't know about a level. He just knows angles and stuff because he You know,
Yep.
he's
Long
managed to
distance.
convince himself that the magic angle is the
Where would
angle.
you work? Yeah, where would you work doing that? Using a theodolite, looking across.
Just measuring angles of things over the cross of mountain ridges. I mean, I don't know what you'd be employed to do. I mean,
what can you do with an angle?
You can't do. You know, we have a famous saying right round here. You can't do fuck all with an angle. Right?
Yeah.
And he goes, and using trig functions, I don't know what the hell you're going to get or how you're going to perceive anything. How are you going to perceive things when you are doing differential leveling? Doesn't matter what you perceive, does it? You're actually measuring the level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck perception.
You're gonna perceive a number on a rod. What do you perceive? 9.5 feet.
Yeah,
Damn,
that's a
you're
big
tall.
sun you've got there. Anything you don't know and how to having to put to say the math is all you made up, right? So that's one of the new things. I don't know whether you've heard it just recently. I don't know if you're aware of it. You can't do math like these people. These people can do math, but much better than you. And because he's using,
math.
yeah, he's using trigonometry and he says angles and stuff. I mean, you're just using an auto level, establishing a level, measuring distances from that level with a ruler. I mean, that's nothing special.
You're way behind me. I can shoot 24 miles in one shot.
Yeah, measure
you guys
an
are
angle.
taking all day.
Bam.
You guys are measuring.
Okay.
So I heard you and Jose talking about the video that you took of that building.
This is it. This is the building, right? This is going to be a hot topic. This is Dave's, Rakia's favourite topic because he heard Larry talking about this on Jose's show, and we've been trying to find out a little bit more about this. He says he's going back to do it again. So you know the story, do you? Do I want to outline it? The story of Larry Scott's concrete pad on a building that he measured over half a mile. He saw a building and thought, hey, that looks about half a mile long. Hey, I bet I could measure the drop of the level on that building. And so he just stopped off and measured it. He took a quick shot, got his thing out, looked at it, measured it, bam, 2 inches. So here we go.
So I heard you and Jose talking about the video that you took of that building curving the other day. Were you able to find it?
No, I didn't really look for it. Now that the weather starts to turn better, I'm going to go back to that building and pick off an additional set of measurements.
And that was just a half a mile, wasn't it? You said.
Yeah, it was particularly short. Yeah, it was like not 2,000 feet.
2,000 feet, and you got about two inches there. So it's definitely measurable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Hey, Rakia, I didn't. You think I was putting words in your mouth? It wasn't my intention to put words in your mouth.
Just totally
what you had
destroyed
said was what you.
He's getting good, right?
Yeah, he just totally annihilated that guy. Anybody who knows anything about surveying will see it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of gullible people over on Jose's that actually still believe that Larry is a real surveyor, right? They've listened to him for months. He's been going on about this stuff for ages.
Yeah.
Right, and then they go on to the gyro. I'm not really interested in gyro and about Bob doing the curvature of the Earth. But then we go to... Right. I think this is submarines, but then it does go on back onto it.
I don't know, submarines. Anywhere you can find this instrument that need to measure a rotation of something.
Somebody calls Larry back again.
Okay, anyway. So
it's just a well understood fact. I don't know. Hey, is Larry Scott, are you still here? I can't see my screen.
Is that Howard? Left lane.
He's showing that he's still here, but he's busy.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Sometime.
I was just getting my mic open.
Yeah. I wanted to
left
go
lane.
back to what Rocky was talking about on the 2-inch drop on the building, and what the contention is with his questioning that, and it's a question that I've got. We think of a building being built on a flat, level foundation, and why would the building reflect earth curve?
Because the foundation is a constant elevation, and that constant elevation is a 3,960 mile radius. That's a definition of level in that application of surfaces of water. Yeah, level is a constant elevation.
That was a setup question.
Potential to where water will not flow, much like a
And
lake.
that, ladies and gentlemen, is how a wizard does it.
Yeah, well done. I must say that your style has developed into just asking a question and then going, "Thank you," because we're recording this. This needs to be saved, right? This is that good.
Everything he knows.
Yeah.
I'm done with that guy.
Yeah. Well,
Earth curve on a building slab.
Well, he just said he put it into water, right? Howard. Howard came here and asked him that. Now, I'm not so sure. I think Howard was trying to get him to pull it back. Yeah, because he says, I want to go back to that.
Blue,
I want to go.
Oh,
no, it's Larry. It's left
That's
lane.
left lane.
Yeah. Howard.
Oh, was it? Damn,
Yeah.
It sounds like blue to me.
And he says, question that I've got. I think of a.
Blue's never going to question Larry's.
Yeah. Yeah, he
was
says,
a setup
we
question.
think of a building
Might have
being built on a flat level foundation. Why would the building reflect earth curve? And he says, because it's the foundation is a constant elevation. And that constant elevation is 3,960. 396, yeah, that's nice. 3 little numbers there. Mile radius. Yeah. That's a definition of level.
That was a
radius. And that constant elevation is a radius. That's the definition of level. And I'm loving that.
Yeah.
Because that's like a fake surveyor over at Jose's definition.
It seemed like a setup question where you get one of your own to ask you a question and you recite this thing somebody just gave you. You know.
I don't think it is. I think Howard was trying to get him to pull that back. He wasn't meant to double down on it. Because Howard sort of knows, I reckon. Howard's got, he's got a bit of nous about him and he knows when to deflect. Larry, I don't think Larry does. Larry's convinced himself that this is real. Look, that is the application of the surfaces of water. Yeah, level is a constant elevation, a constant potential where water will not flow. Like a lake, like that bit over the bridge, right?
Yeah, that's a question, right? You want to put out there for people?
Yeah, we'll put that out later, right? But I mean, this is you got to listen to this.
A constant potential to where water will not flow, much like a lake.
I've never built a foundation to the elevation of the earth. I've always built a foundation to establish horizontal, a benchmark. They want to be 12 inches above that nail in the tree or whatever, and I can go for however long and make that foundation 12 inches above that nail in the tree, and it doesn't care what's under it. Matter of fact, what's under it is usually very different, whether it's water or land or whatever.
Yeah. And if that benchmark is a half a mile off the site, you're going to be moving your instrument every couple of 100 feet.
Hey, can I jump in here for a quick second?
You got
sorry,
saved.
Racky, go ahead, man.
No, I'm done. Go.
Racky, I just linked a video to you. Some guy from Jesse, that guy you talked to, we all talked to a couple times. He's been in here a few times. The gyroscope, mechanical gyroscope video. It's actually pretty cool. But also, I'm going to try to find.
Boring.
Trying to derail
Bob
it.
Is
back over to the.
That someone had gotten all their the results from all their testing with that.
Do you know people who do stuff like that? You still there, Rakia? Anybody? Anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Larry.
Yeah, I put a picture up on the Discord. Can you see that? I just want to know if Rakia, if that's too much math for Rakia.
Larry, why is it tangent of 10 points?
Puts his results on. I didn't get through all of them, but as far as what I saw, some definitely, some of the results were, in and around 15 degrees per hour, But I can't find it. I just message GPS to see if he can send it to me. I don't know how he got. Oh, I know how he got it. Yeah, Tim Osmond.
Tim Osmond.
Put it up.
Troll Factory, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We got it from Tim Osmond. Well, that'd be trusted fucking information then, right?
GPS.
Right, now Larry's put a picture in there. I can't remember seeing it. I don't know whether you got
Larry,
it.
why is it tangent of 10.2348 when it says up there 10.2433?
They love angles.
Oh, that's the vertical angle measurement. It's 10.25 degrees as opposed to 19.8 degrees. See, on that picture, that's something that would be done very normally on a construction site, but it involves math. In that example, which is common,
right? Which is
if
common.
they're making a road improvement, the power line may have to be raised and or determined how high the power line is above the roadway. Now, nobody's going to take a metal stick or any stick and just go up and measure that height. They're going to measure it with an angle. But
right, so he's done some sort of a picture or a drawing or something, and he's saying it's something that happens usually on a construction site. If they have a wire up in the sky, then rather than just measure it with a stick, which is dangerous apparently or something, they've got to get a guy with a theodolite to do some trigonometry.
Hey, check the live stream real quick. That's a hot update there. Chunky Butt Boy conceded EP and Mobius. Pretty interesting.
Do you contest that the angle between curves can only be measured or calculated using straight lines?
I'll drive that.
Wow.
That was on my
nice.
Right line geometry.
Wow. They always have to come round and take it back in the end, don't they? That's nice though. They always come round.
Yeah, DP, are you here? Because he's talking to him, right?
Yeah.
Are you mic'd up, DP? Are you busy? Busy typing?
Yeah. Right, listen to this though, right?
Rocky said he doesn't do math. although this is a normal construction site.
He's put a picture up.
What I mean is where this angle come from. Where do we see it in the drawing?
Rakia
the
says he
instrument
doesn't do math.
Yeah.
On the left side.
Right, well, what
he
he's
says
doing,
it like 6 different times, trying to demean me.
Were you there, or did you go off to go and watch a video?
I took a phone call.
Right. Because he put a picture in, and what Chike's now saying is that he's going, where's that number that you've put at the bottom, right? Where's that come from? Listen, after just saying that you don't understand maths or whatever's going on, right? You don't do that while you're away. He's put a picture up in the chat.
An angle measuring instrument.
I'm scared to do the math.
Listen.
Theodolite.
I see 2 angles. One is 10.2433 and one is 19.7989. I don't see 10.234648.
Maybe I have a little typo in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a typo.
Like, wait, that's called getting it wrong.
It says 10.2348 by the tan at the bottom.
Yeah, I see that, and it appears that maybe I made a typographical error.
A typographical error, right? That's what they call from now on.
Typographical.
Yeah, a
I
typographical.
believe they carry out the math on that.
I have to give it to Chikey, man. He ain't scared to go against him sometimes. He's just stupid.
Well, everybody knows that Larry's fake, right? And they're trying to help Larry, right? It's in their best interest that Larry gets this right and doesn't make a dickhead out of himself.
I don't know. Maybe
Chikey's helping him. Left lane was trying to help him.
Maybe I should get that drawing off there. Yeah, maybe I did it in a hurry.
Yeah.
He's like on.
Maybe I should go back and shoot that building slab on a different day and get a different reading.
He is. The weather's improving. He's going back again. Earth curve.
Well, guess what? The Earth's gonna move.
Yeah, maybe he'll become aware that there's a whole group of people who know about surveying that are literally laughing.
Been my claim for 3 years, you can't measure over a half a mile on different days and get the same measurement. And Larry's just stopped by on a morning and shot a slab on his way to work. That's what he told everyone. He was on his way to work and just happened to see this and stopped by. Right, which doesn't add up either. And then shoots at a one shot over a half a mile from A to B and gets the perfect amount of earth curvature on the building slab. And then when asked by me why he didn't go to the middle and shoot left to right from A to B and see if he got the same measurement, he said, gave all kind of excuses.
Was he looking at a horizontal slab or was it tilted?
Yeah, I don't know. If I had to guess, he's looking over a half a mile over distorted air and gets a bad reading.
If I had to guess, I'd say he made it all up in his imagination.
Well, he was videoing himself. He was definitely, unless it's Photoshop, he was definitely out of building shooting, what looked like to be a half a mile. But I mean, he could have just, he can't do it.
Anyway, yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, it was.
You can't do that. Yeah, but I mean, you just can't get an accurate measurement over half a mile. You go back every morning, you're literally going to get different measurements every morning. And what is he measuring to? He's measuring to an approximated spot on a concrete slab where some siding hits. You know how many different factors are going into that? None of which are earth curve. And he's calling it earth curve. It's almost like egg in your face, right? They're just rubbing it in now.
Right, listen to this. He's talking about water. I've got a few little bits in this, but this is.
All you got to do is shoot from one end to the other. What's wrong with that? Oh wait, that's a test you could actually do. That's a test you could actually do. That's what's wrong with it.
Well, see,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say they want to use water because they like to stick to the trope of water finding its level. But the problem is water only finds its level when it's undisturbed. And there is no undisturbed water, so I have no idea where you're going to do any of these tests with level water.
There you go. I don't know who that was. Who do you think that was?
Holy shit. Was that Larry Scott saying that?
No. Big Blue.
I think it was. I think it was someone else.
Oh, wait, that's a test you could actually do. That's a test you could actually do. That's what's wrong with it.
Well,
see,
there we go.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say they want to use water because they like to stick to the trope of water finding its level.
Devil's advocate. The trope of water finding its own level.
But the problem is water only finds its level when it's undisturbed. And there is no undisturbed water, so I have no idea where you're going to do any of these tests with level water.
Another person, right, that doesn't know what a water level is. It's shocking. I don't, like, speechless, are ya? Nobody, the maths. And then they go on about maths again. Who does anyone know Devil's Advocate is? He sounded like a new guy. I can't say.
That was the first time I'd heard him, and I haven't heard him since.
That was
under
nice,
that name.
nice of him to pop up and say that, right? I mean, that's
his voice doesn't even sound familiar, right?
Yeah.
Like I've never heard that voice before, then or after. A one-time hit.
Right, here we go. Listen to this, seeing as he's just been on there tonight.
I mean, that's why, what was it, well, the guy in Germany, is that Soundly or, no, Sparkane.
Sparkane,
Yeah, Sparkane, he tried laying out a mile-long water level, and it was a monumental project. Well, okay, that's just horrifically prohibitive. So we use...
There's a huge difference in 100 feet of tie-gun tubing and a mile of friggin' pipe.
Yeah, if he had, 3/4-inch PVC pipe, rigid pipe, it becomes a much bigger project, but he'd get much, ultimately it'd be easier to pull off than all that slinky, he was using whatever it was, 3/4-inch or 1/2-inch, soft plastic tubing, and he said every time he turned around he had trouble.
Sure.
And there's one thing that bothers me to no end about what he tried to pull off is when he got to the far end, it was too high. He didn't do any preliminary survey to see, because it looked close enough to him, and he got out there and it was 5 feet higher, and that shocked him during execution and not during a site survey.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Slice Barcane absolutely screwed it up, and for some reason he's going along the side of a canal
in a ditch
and ends up 5 feet higher. Can you even work that out? I mean, I think this guy that's just said it is fucking confused to fuck, right? 5 feet lower, not higher. Lower. Because he was
5 feet over what distance? What? I don't even know what he's trying to say there.
When Slice Barcane originally did his bending water level experiment, right, and he laid all of his tube out, he did it at the side of the canal, on the track at the side of the, not like on the side of the canal on the towpath. No, on the ditch at the side of it, right? And he didn't realise for some reason that elevation matters when you have water level. So when he got to the other end of it, because he'd so badly planned of it and elevation and all that, he had over 5 feet extra of water pressure in the bottom of the tube. Which is genius planning from a man that does that. And that's why there was leaks all over the place, because he went down a ditch, and in order to keep the level at level, there was way too much water pressure at the bottom of the thing. Because he's a shit plumber, he can't manage to keep the tubes together. It was leaking everywhere, and he couldn't find the leaks. But he only had 16 tubes, so there's only 15 connections. And yet, monumental task for Slice Barcane couldn't find all of the leaks. There was only 15 places that there was possibly any leaks. So this guy here is bringing it up. He's nice, whoever it is, of him to bring all of this up, that Slice Barcane's a useless twat and doesn't know how to do his test. But I mean, this was a genius one that you started off, Rakir. It was you asking about Larry about all of his stuff. Right, and then Earth hasn't been flat for millennia. They started to go on a talk. Once you disappeared, and they carried on going.
So the answer to my question is no flat earther has even bothered to try to explain it.
They could try, but they're always going to try
Talking
to make
about
flat,
other
and that
people.
doesn't work, because that's
Obsessed
illogical,
with flat earthers.
non sequitur. I mean, it's like Earth hasn't been flat.
Trying to talk
for
about
millennia
reality, and
in
people
the
talking
academic
about
world.
flat earthers all the time.
And then they come up with all this, academia is, they're all just pulled together to make some sort of lie. Well, here's something that they don't understand. Academics compete with each other. If an academic comes up with a white paper and a hypothesis, they're putting it out there to be tested, the first thing everybody else wants to do is show how wrong it is, not how right it is. They want to show it's wrong and how they know it's wrong, and that their solution...
That's nice of him to say, because the academics like people to tell them that they're wrong. Like, that's what they do. That's what he's saying. That academics like to tell each other that they're wrong and prove each other wrong, which is what we were doing right now. And they still... Yeah, Rocky wants to set concrete. They love talking about... I think this is a bit... He might have been talking about us here.
They got their results in. So like I said, I haven't gone through all of it, so I don't really know officially what it entails, But some of their conversations made me laugh. I don't know where this all took place. Like, where did they get? How did all these, the conversations get transcribed? Like, it must have been on some kind of platform, right? Like a Discord or some kind of thing like that. Not really sure how that all works. Yeah, but they have a bunch of tests.
Got a bunch of tests. We have. Do you think he's talking about us? There's a minute break there. You ever heard C4? I've never really heard C4 talk before.
Nah.
But he's talking about it. They some kind of, must have been like, some kind of platform, right? Like a Discord or some kind of thing like that. Not really sure how all that works. Yeah, but they have a bunch of tests. Like Rakia wants to set concrete. This is somebody else now, I think.
Yeah, Rocky wants to set
This is Larry
set
again,
concrete
talking about
forms of a very large
Rakia.
building at a constant elevation by moving his instrument every couple hundred feet.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Of course that's going to work.
Of course that's going to work. That's nice.
Oh, it'll be level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the commercial grade theodolites, if you don't, you could sit on one side and be looking out there, easily at 1,000 or more feet, which Rocky would never do because he has a little auto level, right? But if you sit up there, 1,000 feet away, with
Listen to that.
a reasonable grade theodolite, and you're just shooting with angles and measuring distances, curvature correction will be built right into the gun and will be outputting elevation, accounting for those couple of inches. And no surveyor is going to turn that off.
Oh my goodness.
Do you not turn your curvature thing off?
I must have a lower level theodolite because mine doesn't have any curvature compensator. I know what he's talking about, but it's not what.
It's not a curvature compensator.
No,
switch.
it's not. This is where he just. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. And move his theodolite every couple hundred, or his auto level.
Yeah, he has a little. He has a little auto level, right?
Yeah.
Right. They come with a 32 times scope. There's nothing better. You can't get there's no 76 times scope or 125 times scope theodolite. The best scope you can get is a 32 times scope. And what they say for elevation checking, the best tool for the job is an auto level. What do you need to measure angles for if you're only after elevation? You're only you only need horizontal. The most accurate tool is an auto level for the job.
Exactly.
They're crazy.
Yep. We'll set them with auto levels, and they'll come out and check them with theodolite, like a surveyor.
Yeah.
And they're dead on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never fail. We've done huge buildings, and we do them all in the same way. We never, ever would shoot from one side to the other, even after we get it, set to check. We wouldn't do that. We know it's inaccurate. We would never even waste our time doing that. Neither would the surveyor. I don't get it, man. I mean, this is a stretch. It's desperado is what it is. You can't talk about how light is affected by the atmosphere. Your optics are affected by that, especially at low level, and then take a tool, an optical tool at low level, and shoot a measurement and expect it to be accurate, like they double speak. If you think you're not shooting over water when you shoot over land, then you're dead wrong. There's plenty of water coming out of that ground, right? That's heating up, cooling down, distorting, turning into turbulence, whatever you want to call it, at those low levels. It amazes me. The double speak is just too evident, right? It's just something going on. They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if I can find this. I've got too many more left. Something about science in this bit here.
And refraction is not an optical illusion, Jinkus. Jeez.
You're stuck on your script sync, so you can't listen.
And
so you mean to tell me a mirage
point, and I measure the vertical angles because I can still see it. And when I do the maths and apply the curvature and apply the refraction, I get the right elevation, give or take like a couple feet from 10, 20 miles out. Yeah, so I don't see a missing component, and by getting the same elevation from all the different observing points, there's a consistency and harmony which says I have no missing components. That's called repeatable science.
It's called repeatable science, says Larry. Now, what he says here is, I can measure the vertical angles because I can still see it. And when I do the maths and apply the curvature and apply the refraction, so he's going to measure the angles, then do the maths, then apply curvature and apply refraction. He gets the right elevation, take a couple of feet. Give or take a couple of feet. Well, that's good, isn't it? What's he doing? What do you reckon? Any idea, Rakia? Any idea what job Larry has been asked to do? I don't know. $57 for the next one. So that's Larry Scott doing repeatable science, where he measures angles. Have you noticed anybody doing anything other than measuring an angle? Yeah, because I mean, trig does require a right angle triangle and a bit more stuff, doesn't it? Right, GPS. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good bit.
Yep. Well, if that's the very thing that's in question, why would you use the thing that's going to prove what you're looking for? You're kind of not being honest with this.
Okay. Is GPS inaccurate? Yes or no?
Well, what is GPS?
Is it inaccurate? Yes or no?
The stupidity is starting. I am going. See you all tomorrow.
I'm going
the problem.
Okay, Larry GPS. Now I understand your name. I get your name now.
The problem I have with your assertion right there is when I use GPS methods to measure point-to-point distances, and I compare that with a laser ranger, I get the same. So I demonstrated that GPS works for straight line distances.
Could have just said you Googled it.
You didn't hear what he just said.
No, he said GPS. I could have Googled it and got the same answer, Larry. You think?
He compared it himself.
I'll compare it to Google, and if it matches Google, I'll know I'm right.
He didn't compare it to Google, did he?
Well, what satellites was he using? I don't know.
GPS.
What did he compare it against?
Navstar. I was using Navstar system. Now you can say whatever you want about the Navstar system, but you can't say it doesn't work for straight line point-to-point distances, independent of any aspect of terrain or shape of the Earth.
So straight line.
Over 500 miles.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Antenna to antenna. Yeah, straight line.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
A chord is not a level line.
He said a straight line. He did me one better.
No. A chord is a straight line, but it's not a level line, is it?
It's not a curved one, I don't think.
Figure out why this is a problem.
It's the same as laser ranging, but line of sight not required.
Do you know how much curvature there's supposed to be in 500 miles?
Yeah.
How much?
Let me just call up my document.
Google search.
The old Google search, eh?
Call up my duck.
No.
Yeah.
That's a calculation.
You got no equipment, you've got no experience, you've never been on the field, and you don't do math. So you're not in a position to say something.
How can you have a straight line when there is allegedly 166,666 feet of curvature in 500 miles?
Because
you didn't listen to what he was saying, did you?
Line of sight was not required.
How can you have a straight line, I said? You said you'd done it with a straight line off GPS.
A chord, electronic means, measured.
Point to point between antennae. Yeah. And I did compare that.
That tells you one thing.
Is there a massive conflict going on here where one of them's imagining one thing and Larry's imagining another thing, and they both just imagine that they're right, whereas Brian is talking about a straight line? Right, and both of these other people, one of them's Larry's imagining point to point because he's laser ranged finding it as a straight line, and whoever it is it Chaik or whoever the other person is imagining it's a chord. Well, you can't sight line a chord because a chord cuts through, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a big topic right there.
Yeah. It's not quite finished yet because Larry's about to tell us about his
And I
gotta step away for a minute. Is anybody else in here?
Who else have we got?
Yeah, I gotta step away just for a little while.
Okay.
Is Rakia still here? Spot on.
I'm going to be in and out. I'm working.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm in and out too.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to get this. There's only this one, and then we've got a plumb, 90 degree to plumb right line bit.
It's not what it tells you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's A to B. That's a straight line.
It's not line of sight, is it?
Well, it's A to B. It's a straight line to me.
Yeah.
Is it
It's
line
a
of
straight
sight?
line. It's a straight line. And that line has nothing to do with the fact that there is terrain in between.
But there is curvature, allegedly, or supposed to be.
Oh dear.
So maybe you didn't
Yeah,
account
but
for the
7.3
curvature. You
degrees
just said
there
there
was
must
having
be.
her mouth.
Hold on. Maybe you didn't account for the curvature. You said it must be curving because A to B gave me a straight line. And so in this distance, we can apply that to our value, which would give me, let me calculate it here,
Okay.
the curvature.
Yeah, that's not what he said. Stop lying.
I measured
But I think that's what's happening.
I measured 3 chords, and those 3 chords build a triangle that fits 3,960-mile radius. And then I also did the Eratosthenes method with 3 and compared.
Yeah, that's not what he said. Stop lying.
I measured 3.
But I think that's what's happening.
I measured 3 chords, and those 3 chords build a triangle that fits 3,960-mile radius. And then I also
I don't get that.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Measured 3 chords, and those 3 chords built a triangle that fits.
Is he talking about horizontals
3,000
from high altitude?
Yeah, I think he misspoke. He had to, right?
Yeah, how do you measure a chord on?
I can only take people at the words that they use, right? And if we start thinking that these people meant something else, then we do their job for them. And Larry said what he said. Let's take it what he said.
Let him off
right?
the hook. Don't let him off the hook.
He said, "I measured." This is literally what he says when he says he measured the radius of the Earth. Right, when him, Larry, Jesse, and that other dude from Maine, Jeff, right, when the 3 Stooges got together and they did the thing for measuring whatever. This is Larry's job. I mean, Larry, he couldn't get it wrong. I measured 3 chords, and those 3 chords built a triangle. Well, that's 3 straight lines, chords, that fit a radius.
My question is, where's Blue in this moment, right? Blue is quick to jump in and support him. You understand, like back him up on things, and then this is totally silence when he screws up like this.
Well, I mean, you see, I think this is where they've got stuck, because they are all like bowing down to the Larry, right? Who they've given the surveyor status. Like, I don't know whether Jesse passed the baton on and said, now you shall all worship Larry, because I'm going for a while. I don't know when I'll be back, if I'll be back. So he's gone and left Larry, and now everyone's listening to Larry, right? But Larry's the only person that they'll listen to. He's the only one left. So when we go in there and say, wait a minute, that's wrong, they'll go, no, Larry's the expert. You're just some random dude saying shit. Larry knows what he's talking about. Doesn't he? It's like, well, no, he doesn't. It's pretty obvious that Larry doesn't know what he's talking about. And then I also did the Aristotelian and compared it with my Aristotelian will. Right, listen, yeah. Right, I quite like this one. I measured 3 chords.
I measured 3 chords, and those 3 chords build a triangle that fits 3,960-mile radius. And then I also did the Eratosthenes method with 3 and compared it to my Eratosthenes method with 2. And so you said, oh, no, astronomic measurements are no good. So I just relied on the chord distances. And I got 3,960 miles many times repeated with different technologies, and that consistency and harmony. Yet then I took that my own derived 3,960 mile radius of the Earth and derived the refraction component, and the refraction component across a significantly high number of measurements, like I said, 25 of these measurements over a couple of years.
Right, so he's done it, measuring the radius from a triangle and chords that many times with multiple different technologies. He doesn't sound like he's mistaken or confused or anything. He sounds like it's been a well-rehearsed bullshit that Larry's speaking here now. It's, I don't know. And then, like, he's derived his own radius of the Earth from all of this stuff. And then he's derived his own refraction component as well. It's a bit like Andrew Thomas Young or whatever. In fact, do you reckon he's been talking to George? Racket, isn't that what George tries to... he's not actually measuring anything. He's doing a refraction study of the land over multiple different times to see what it looks like at different temperature gradients and stuff. Oh, and this is quite good, right? I'll play this.
All compile into one smooth, consistent set of data, which reveals the magnitude and character of the refraction, because I knew the shape of the Earth by separate and independent measurements. And if you want to go out and take your own measurements, or even screen print my data and tell me what I did wrong, knock yourself out.
The only thing I'm trying to do...
See that? And keep in mind, if you want to go out and take your own measurements, or even screen print my data and tell me what I did wrong, knock yourself out. So we'll take you up on that, Larry. I will anyway. I don't think you measured the radius of the Earth by measuring chords of a triangle. I'd like to know where the chords were for starters. How you measured that. And go on and talk about straight lines. There's quite a lot. It is worth watching this. Jose JG pre-recorded. Synclenser does really well. Just letting them talk about stuff. 76 minutes.
Points, did the maths, and made the least square best fit, and I end up with a value of 0.0565 feet for the square of the miles, which subtracted off the 0.667 inches for the, or feet for the square of the miles, returns the refraction, which makes the light path an approximate 24,900 mile arc.
I got one more question. I mean, that all seems to check out. I think you got. I don't know what you meant, but I'm sure you're saying something that I need to look at. Now, what is astronomic horizon? What does that mean?
That's level. That's 90 degrees off of plumb.
So, hey, that sounds like.
That seems.
You like that? I bet Cleary will like that. Okay, and we'll play it again.
Or you're saying something that I need to look at. Now, what is astronomic horizon? What does that mean?
That's level. That's 90 degrees off of plumb.
So, hey, that sounds like.
That seems
flat
to
Earth
be a lot of
geometry right
things
there.
you don't have any idea about.
That sounds like flat Earth geometry to me. Horizontal is 90
Sounds
degrees
like
from plumb.
you have no idea about what you're talking
90
about.
degrees from plumb does sound like it's level. Yes, sir.
Yes, because that is the local tangent to the Earth at that point of location, in which I was the instrument, when carefully leveled, was looking into clear blue sky above the far mountain Appalachian mountain range, which was higher in elevation than I, because of the 511 feet of drop of the shape of the Earth, and reduced by the 80 feet of refraction from the light path through the atmosphere. And I did that. Come on out. You can bring your own equipment. You can use my equipment. These are all public access points. We can repeat the science. You can see exactly when you get a significant quantity of measurements with varying distances, varying elevations, but consistent meteorology, the harmony is so high. The South Pole exists. And I never measure from an ocean.
How did you distinguish your line of sight from the observer? I get presumably.
South Pole.
Yeah.
What distance and elevation was he when he got 80 feet of refraction?
I don't know. He just comes out with numbers. Above the Appalachian Mountains. He doesn't actually give us a distance. He just says the drop of the above the far Appalachian mountain range, which was higher in elevation than I, because of the 511 feet of drop of the shape of the Earth. So it's a 511 feet of drop of the shape of the Earth. Right? The shape of the Earth drops, but I don't, like it said constant elevation earlier. This gets really confusing. He says, I'm reduced by the 80 feet of refraction from the light path through the atmosphere. Yeah, you can bring your own equipment. It must be some mountains that he's got. You have the line of sight that appears to drop. That appears to drop from the astronomic horizon. Well, they just said that the astronomic horizon back here is horizontal, right, at 90 degrees from plumb. There we go.
you have the line of sight that appears to drop from the astronomic horizon. How did you differentiate those two lines?
One is when the scope is leveled and I'm looking at nothing, and then I rotate the scope to be on the target, and I read the angle that the instrument reported.
Well, I think therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
You got a couple of different lines. They all seem to be horizontal. The only thing that's not horizontal is this suspicious Earth curvature that you've explained away with refraction and optical spooky geometry. No, I just don't. I'm not convinced. You could sell it to someone else, but I'm not buying, bro. No chance.
Screen print it and ask around. Because since you don't understand, you don't do math, so you're going to have to go find someone who does.
Well, that astronomical and that line of sight, I can just hang my hat on that. I think it's over right there.
And that, and you
Of
embrace
pigeon
that,
chest is over.
when you embrace that, you're embracing a stupidity which completely discounts any assertion you're going to make.
No, because you said eye level is...
What don't you
The
understand?
eye level is a straight line according to the astronomical horizon, but somehow your line of sight bends all of a sudden. And
Yeah, you did well there, Sin Cleanser. Oh, I may as well leave this room.
different angle.
What don't you understand?
I don't understand that one. That was a curveball.
No, you level up your scope, and the crosshairs are in blue sky, and then I rotate the scope to the target, and I read the angle reported. And the scope is oriented to plumb. And when a carpenter uses a carpenter level, he's not aligning it to a horizon, he's making it perpendicular to plumb. And that's called level, and which is tangent to the earth at that point. And as you go get...
Right, level is a tangent. Right, so that's a straight line now. What level was a curve earlier? It's really confusing. Scope, read the angle reported.
And I read the angle reported. And the scope is oriented to plumb. And when a carpenter uses a carpenter level, he's not aligning it to a horizon, he's making it perpendicular to plumb.
Horizontal.
And that's called level, and which is tangent to the earth at that point. And as you go get miles and miles away, things at even the same elevation get lower in angle from that local tangent.
Yeah, this presupposes a radius, and it presupposes refraction.
Doesn't presuppose anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take a piss. Good luck with that one. I know you know what you're doing, but that's why I'm suspicious, because I know enough for you to know better. You're trying to sneak these...
And we've got last one. NASA shill tells us how to do it. Aristosthenes. This bit needs a thing on its own.
You have the records.
No, you don't. You have
Yes, we
stories
do.
of somebody telling
Well,
someone
at
else.
least we know it's between 7.2 degrees that you measure.
You realize how many times I've heard in this debate alone, people misuse...
And by the way, you can repeat Aristosthenes' measurements again, because I believe that the obelisk is still there. You go there at the time of year and you measure it by yourself.
What time of year did Eratosthenes do this?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, nobody's sure because nobody knows.
Well,
what
you
the
need
guy
to find
said.
a well in.
It was not April 1st.
Or no, it was on summer solstice.
It was April 1st.
It was
not April 1st. Stupid.
It was summer solstice when the sun hit the bottom of the well in Aswan. Yeah.
Yeah, but Aswan is not in the equator, so it must be a bit after.
It's on the tropics.
There are so many problems with Eratosthenes, guys. Really
Tell me some problems with Eratosthenes.
Do you know when the sun?
Tell me, Sin. No, wait, everybody, please, 1 second. Sin, tell me the problem with the Eratosthenes experiment. Tell me the problem with the Eratosthenes experiment right now.
Well, just show me the Eratosthenes experiment first.
No, not the Eratosthenes experiment. The Eratosthenes experiment, as we're going to do it as you should do it in 13 days. Tell me what the
Just
problem.
show me what he said. I'll look into it. I don't have a problem with him telling me things. I just want to know what he said.
So you don't know what it is?
What you did.
I don't know what he said. I don't know of a person that knows what he said.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Do you know what?
No, listen. Shut up. So forget about Eratosthenes. I mean, so we haven't.
About him. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you do. You do his experiment today. You don't worry about what he did. You worry about what you did. You take a stick of known length.
No, it's experiment.
Oh, fine. We're going to call it the sea lion experiment then for you.
Call it pulling it out of your ass, right?
No, we'll call it the sea lion experiment for you. We'll do it the sea lion. Here's a sea lion experiment for you, okay? Do it in 13 days from now. You take a stick of known length, you put it in 90 degrees to the ground, plumb to the ground, and you measure the shadow at your local noon.
My local noon, right?
Right, when the sun is highest in the sky. Okay? That is measure the length of your shadow versus the length of the stick and a little bit of math, and you know that on the 13 days from now that the sun is over the equator, you can then calculate the diameter of the radius, so the radius of the Earth from you to the equator. And then you can therefore have, if you have...
An important point here is you don't go by clock noon, you go by solar noon.
That's correct, solar noon.
Well, what's the difference between solar noon and clock noon?
Because the time, you don't know the difference? Why don't you fucking Google it?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Wait a minute,
I just told you. Because you asked,
no.
I'm tired of your fucking sea lining, you fucking moron. Haven't you? I told you this 100 times. Stop sea lining me. I told you to do it when the sun is highest in the sky. That is your solar noon. I just told you. I gave you solar noon. When the sun is highest in your local sky. When the shadow is the shortest.
Nice guy.
And Sinclair already said, equation of time, everybody knows it.
That's correct.
That's why I was the one that brought it up earlier today. I don't think Peyton Master Shield knows.
I understand the fucking difference. It has to do with time zones and stuff. In the meantime, at the equinox...
Right. That's it. That's enough. So Peyton Master Shield does Eratosthenes. I'm going to clip that out. Because in 13 days' time, that's all you need to do. You just measure the length of the shadow versus the length of your stick and do a bit of maths. And then...
Wait 13 days.
Google it. Yeah. You're done.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah. Bam. Send it to Slice Barcane. Let him know where you are.
Yeah. Axiom number 1.
Solar noon. Wow.
I thought it was a good question. What's the difference between solar noon and clock noon?
Yeah. I mean, it would have given them chance to sort of come up with an answer, right? It would have been easy.
Yeah, that discussion alone would reveal a lot about the model. You know what I mean?
If they were able to have that discussion.
Yeah, they can't. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not allowed to have that discussion.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
You twat. How do we know the Earth is not flat?
We don't. It's flat.
That was that.
understanding of the world in which you live, then of course the world looks flat. The world looks flat. The world looks flat.
Neil. Bitch. You twat. I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
That's what I do, 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 what I do.
But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
My friends, these people are so out of touch with science. You don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round.
They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash.